Hello, good evening, and welcome. This is Strong and Sassy on your superstation Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Animwaa Anim-Addo, and it's so great to be back. A very big thank you to Akofa for sitting in for me for these past 2 weeks. And of course, thank you to you for always staying tuned in. I know you could be anywhere else, but you always choose to be here. And we're super, super grateful for that. Remember, our show is live and interactive. We're on Facebook. So if you're not driving, and you want to see the visuals, I always encourage the visuals. It's always a different vibe. And then catch us on Facebook. But if you're driving, then just stay right here. Radio is fine. And our text lines are open, so you can send in your questions and your thoughts. 055 1111997, 055 1111997. We might open the phone lines a little later, but I can't promise you that. So diving straight into our conversation for today, we're talking about what it takes to be successful. And we talk about the hustle so much. I think it's like become a vibe thing. Like, Charlie, what's happening? Yeah, Charlie had a hustle, had a hustle, had a hustle. And it's yeah, and they say the dream is free, but the hustle is sold separately. But tonight, I want to speak to somebody who has hustled and has gone past the hustling for a little bit of guidance on how to navigate the hustling so that there's an end to the hustling and a place of success. So joining me tonight, Dr. Boahemaa Ntim. She's a CEO for NutriHealth Foods and Beverages. She's also the author and podcast host of Beyond the Hustle. I'll give you the details to her book and podcast later. It was a book that inspired the conversation, though, I must say. Beyond the Hustle. Good evening and welcome.
Good evening, Animwaa.
Thank you so much for being here.
I'm happy to be here.
So, as much as I want to talk about the book at the end, the Beyond the Hustle, I'm also curious as to what inspired you or why you thought, of all the things that you could write about. I mean, I have a little bit of an idea of, what you've done and, all of that. But why did you want to dive into the hustle?
Well, I wanted to dive into the hustle because I believe that the hustle is important. But like you said, sometimes you can hustle to a point where you get frustrated. And I have seen and I have encountered a lot of people that are not successful for lack of trying, but because sometimes they just need a little help with fundamentals, with structuring, with something that they can add on to the hustle to be able to jump over and get into the success zone. So that's what motivated me to write, because I mean, I've seen, I've done, I've heard, and I think it's about time that we share the experiences that would help other people to get through the hustle much faster than they typically would.
So you can get through the hustle faster?
Oh, yes, you can. I don't know whether the hustle ever finishes, though. But I think you get to a point where you master the art to an extent where you can apply certain things to be successful faster. I mean, if I compare myself now to when I started the hustle 30 years ago, now there are things that I would do that I wouldn't have done at that time. There's a network I've built now that would help me to go through whatever I am doing now. There are some things I've learned along the way that I would not repeat, for example. So over time, you get to do things that allows you to stay, I mean, for a very short period in the hustle phase and then get on to seeing some good results in a very short time. And for me, I don't think people should go through what we have gone through. If they can jump on our necks and cross that bridge much faster,
then it makes much more sense.
Yes.
Yeah. So I was going to ask you, and then you mentioned, what are some of the things, as a starting point, what are some of the things that you wish you had known 30 years ago when you were starting this journey of trying to become successful?
I think the first for me would be the level of optimism that every entrepreneur or every potential business owner or anything you start, you typically will start with a certain high level of optimism, because you somehow believe in the dream. You are convinced that this thing is going to work, and you quickly do numbers, and you are all, I would have been a lot more measured in the way I approach anything that I'm going to do.
Does that apply to marriage too?
Everything.
I don't know why that's what came into my head.
Everything. I mean, if you've been in the Mills and Boone phase, I mean, you are going into marriage with all sorts of crazy expectations and ideas, and then you get in and you realize that I need to manage these expectations because half of them, is not going to happen. So for me, that would be the first thing.
Managing the
expectation and the optimism. And then that pushes me to dwell a lot more on what can go wrong. Because at that point, you almost feel invincible. I mean, this idea is so brilliant that why would anybody not like it? And that is a huge, trap to get into, because a lot can go wrong. And can go so wrong that if you're not careful, you may never get out of it. Another book I'm working on, You Failed, So What? I mean, some people fail and you struggle to get out of that phase if you are not careful. So why not take your time? So that's the first thing for me to look at if I'm doing this again.
Okay, so your second point, that what can go wrong.
Yeah.
Our culture, we're very Christian, We are very... Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence. We do not consider the bad things, because with God on our side, it's a lie. The devil is a liar. It will not happen. We are a very optimistic people.
Yeah.
Mainly, I think, because of our culture, but also because of religion.
Yeah.
So how do you balance the faith that it requires to invest your heart and your soul and your money and everything into a business that you believe in, but keep at the back, ask yourself the question, what can go on, and keep a certain level of pessimism? How do you even, because we don't know how to do that. We are all in, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now you're saying, no, we should look at the other side. How do we do that?
The ability to even step out and do something itself is an act of faith. There's a strong link between business and spirituality. It takes faith to say that I'm going to invest in something that I have absolutely no control over. So there's a certain level of faith.
Okay.
But the Bible also teaches us that in everything, knowledge would build the foundation, and with wisdom you will erect the walls and the structures. So it's not just about faith.
There's also the counting the cost.
There's also the wisdom that you need to apply to the business. There are the challenges, the dark days. When I go through the valley of the shadow of death, who is going through that valley? You and I. So there will be days that you're going through, but your faith will keep you going for you to say that even though there will be challenges along the way, I am sure that with my faith and hard work, because when you're going through that valley, it takes putting one step before the other. You cannot sit in the valley.
Yeah.
You would have to keep going.
Yeah.
So it takes that for you to get out and then see the fruits of your labor. So yes, have faith, but beyond the faith, count the cost. Find the workmen. I mean, work through the things you need to work through. Open up yourself to the possibilities. Paul said something. Many doors are open, but there are also adversaries behind those doors.
Yeah.
They are all things that will come at you even if you have faith. And so it takes you combining that faith with wisdom, with the perception and understanding that not everybody loves what you're doing.
Yeah.
And there are things that will stand in your way that you would need to overcome. And those are the things that typically somebody with a bright idea and passion and all that, you think your idea is foolproof. I mean, once I like it, everybody will like it. But that's very far from the truth.
Yeah. And sometimes it's not even the idea. It's sometimes it's once I am doing, so you feel like, once I'm doing something, everybody be happy for me, and I'm not. But then you find that no, actually, once I'm doing it, people are envious, people are jealous, people don't want you to succeed, people have opinions, people will backbite, people will sabotage,
people will stand in your way.
Yeah.
I mean, all sorts. Even yourself, there will be times that you begin to doubt your own ability to even get to where you want to get to. So aside the external challenges, there are also internal days that you wake up and you are wondering whether you've bitten more than you can chew.
Yeah.
Or there are days that you're wondering, I mean, something has gone, the way you were not expecting down south, and you are wondering, can I do this? And all sorts of things that you need to fight internally and externally to be able. So entrepreneurship is good. Everybody wants to own a business, but a lot comes with the terrain.
Yeah.
And that we need to be prepared for.
Okay. So it's really just being aware of the full picture.
Yes.
So the first thing was don't be too optimistic, but be measured in your expectations. Yes. And then the second one is,
the second one for me will be acquiring the knowledge and what we'll call a feasibility. Okay. But in very simple terms, being convinced beyond just your few friends around you.
Okay.
Because a lot of the time we are likely to be asking people around us whether they like our idea or they like our plan and all. And the possibility or the probability that they think like you is very high.
Yeah.
But you are building something that is not just for you and your friends. There's a wider market. I mean, is the market ready for what you're doing? Are they ready? Sometimes the market is ready. Are they willing to even pay for what you're going to give them?
So this depends on the products that you're selling.
The product,
or the service you're providing.
Everything you're doing.
Okay, so for example, Mirabelle has a business. She sells shoes and dresses and heel stoppers and things like that. So I mean, with some products, there's a market for it. People are always buying, shoes and clothes and stuff like that. So if let's say that's your standard business, in terms of feasibility, is there another aspect that you consider?
Who is Mirabelle defining as a customer?
Okay.
Because you can have a business that will do well with a certain catchment.
Okay.
But is it scalable? After you've been able to satisfy the few
English
people.
From the catchment to the scalable. By the time we finish this, we have a degree in business. Hey,
is it a business that,
So scalable means like from small to big.
Exactly. Because you and I growing up, we would probably find a woman that has been selling something and it has remained that size for 25 years.
Yeah.
Because that business is not scalable.
Okay.
You can start something that looks profitable. That can,
not...
but are you running a business that will stay the same forever? No. You have to have potential to grow it.
Okay.
And so the questions will go beyond just, people are always buying shoes. What kind of shoes?
Okay.
Who is your customer?
Are you keeping up with the trends?
Are you keeping up with the trend?
Are you able to get supply at a good price?
In terms of pricing, you are importing the items. What if the forex misbehaves?
Yeah.
How are you going to hedge around those things? Because you could well start something that is doing well today, but because you didn't think into the future on the risks and the possibilities and all that, you will not have a business in 2 years.
Yeah.
Because trends will change, because the market can hit you, because, people's interests and desires will change. If they do change, what are you going to do? If people decide that now we want to just wear loafers and not heels, what will happen to your
and
heel
you've
stoppers?
Bought thousands
of them in stock.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more that goes into designing something that will last. And these are the things I call the hustle. The hustle is when, the thing looks good. It's making you a little money. It's paying the bills at this point. But are you going to be able to build a business out of it? A business that would outlive you? A business that will stand the test of time? And that is what we call the business.
Right.
So my goal is that people move from just the gigs. Because then there are chances that it's going to fail.
Okay.
And then,
so there are gigs and there are businesses.
There are gigs, there are hustles, and there are businesses.
Okay, so they are grouped into 3.
Yes.
Okay, are those like official groupings?
Not my group.
I mean, your official
yes,
group. Okay.
Yes.
So the gigs are like the things are like a one-time thing.
Yes.
And then the hustle is a short-term thing.
Exactly. It
and
looks
then
like it's
business
going to work, but there are no structures to it.
Okay.
There's no long-term vision to it. There are no risks not identified and mitigated. So, it will last for a while. But when the winds come, it may not stand. And then the businesses, ones that have taken into account everything that we are talking about. The challenge for me is that people don't think that right from the get-go, you can start it off as a business.
I was just going to say, yeah.
You could. So, you ask all the questions that we are asking. And once you are able to put in place, you can't behave like a large, full-scale company at that point. But there are some basic things you can put in place to ensure that it's more sustainable than just a hustle. Do you get me?
Yeah.
And those are the conversations that I want us to start. Because no matter how small it is, you can still put in some structures or some plans or something as basic as your marketing strategy. Where are you going to sell the item?
On my status.
On your status. How many people are looking at your status? Maybe 5,000. But that's all your so you have to go beyond your status.
I think sometimes when we're starting something and you look at all these things, it seems very daunting. It seems like it's a lot.
Yeah. Business is a lot.
So then the fear is, if I think about all the things that I need to, like some of these things that you're saying, it may cripple me. And then I actually may not start. So then why don't I just start? And then as I go along, as things come, then I kind of do that. I mean, clearly you would advise against that kind of thinking.
Yes. What I would say is that you don't have to do everything at once.
So how do you know
you need
what
to have
to
the
do
knowledge
and what not to do?
For example, I've developed a workbook to come with a book.
Okay.
That will ask you all the questions to allow you to think and write them down.
I mean, must we think?
Somebody said thinking is such hard work, so very few people do it.
Sometimes it's easier to do than to think.
But I mean, which is easier when you have lost money? Like some of the things I have done that I lost so much. Which one would be better? If I had said to you, or somebody had said to me at the time, can you think through A, B, C, D? And that could have saved me from losing so much money. And mind you, sometimes the money is not just your money.
Yeah.
You've had other people invest in you and all that, and you lose that. If you are not the very strong person, you may never recover. So for me, I mean, it looks like very daunting, but it's safer.
Okay.
It's safer. And like from what I'm saying, you need to implement everything. But at least the knowledge in focus, or have something in mind that, okay, once I cross step 1, step 2 is my next landing point. I won't jump to step 2 now. Now I'm starting with my status.
Okay.
But once it begins to grow and I begin to see the potential, my next landing point is to get influencers to market this for me. So at least you have that in mind.
Yeah.
So you don't get shocked or you don't get, sidetracked. And it also informs how you position what you are doing. Okay. When you know that I'm not just doing this for my 1,000 WhatsApp status viewers, I'm doing this for the world. My product has a potential to go beyond the borders. There's a way you even brand your product or you position your product. So it's important that we think back, we work back and begin to establish things, albeit in a small way, but with potential for growth.
Okay, so you've talked about marketing and you've talked about branding. So, I mean, these things, obviously, we know are very, very important to your business, right? But, I mean, so let's say, for example, Mirabelle's little business that she's doing. Maybe she can't afford a marketing specialist or a branding. Mirabelle, can you? or like a branding, specialist or an influencer. So how, because in the hustle, in the gig stroke hustle stage, you can't outsource some of these things.
Yeah.
You are sitting in your room learning how to use CapCut and learning how to do this, to edit your videos and, do all of those things. Yeah. So how do you, I think you know the question, right?
I know part of the question.
I mean, like, how do you do it? Because for people who are really hustling, there's not enough money. They haven't built the networks yet. You're now starting. So what do you do? How do I
think for me, young people these days are blessed. I mean, compared to when we started to do this. Because now, unless you are hiding under some rock, you have access to so much information for free. I mean, we have Meter on our phones. I mean, what can't you ask it? Yeah. Do you get me? So now we don't even have an excuse because there's so much information. You can get a whole tutor on developing your marketing strategy that is custom to your local environment for you and all of that. Unless, of course, you can't read or write or use any of these tools. If you cannot do that, then you need help.
Okay.
Then
otherwise,
because when we have this conversation, the rebuttal will be, but our mothers in Makola and all that, they didn't have all this. But if you go and speak to them now, the struggle is real. Because now people are sitting in their homes and buying items from outside of the country. Delivered to their doorstep. Ordinarily, they would have gone to Makola.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so over time, they will begin to struggle.
Yes.
Because now competition is not just Ghana.
It's all over the world. And it's just an app.
On your fingertips.
And you can just order anything from anywhere.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
You see, so we have moved. So we cannot even stand and say, because our mothers got away with it, now we will get away with it. If you are going to have a business, then you have to employ some of these tools that are freely available. You don't need a consultant. Of course, you get to a point where experience from other people, and that's where I tell people, don't stay in a cocoon. Join things. I mean, go for programs. Join the GEAs and all these other trade groups. You will learn a lot from other people. And you get the support that you need at very minimal cost to you as a business.
So, I mean, you're talking about going to programs, which obviously lines up with networking. And I mean, how important is it, again, let me use Mirabelle's business. Mirabelle's business as an example. So you're advertising on your status, you're advertising on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, you're doing all of that. Do you need to know people?
Well, it depends on what you're doing and depends on the extent of growth that you would require. So all that also comes in your formulation of the vision. Where are you taking this? Okay. How big do you want this to be? That would inform what you do. I mean, if you are comfortable with something that just pays the bills and you're not really keen to have something that really lasts, then, some of these things are not important, because you quickly realize that there's only so much you can do from your network or your skills or what you can do, even in terms of advertising. Okay. You will quickly get to a place where you realize that you even need professional help in even your social media where everybody has access. We've been having this conversation. I know what to do, but sometimes you even need help on where to take it, how to do it, who to get to help you. So it's important. You may start by yourself, but you will quickly get to a point where you realize that you would need other resources. You would need other people. And that's where I also talk a lot about innovation. My study area is innovation. And sometimes we don't innovate enough. It's not everything that you have to pay for. There are things that you can creatively work with other people to achieve. And at the end of the day, I mean, you get what you want. We've had instances where you would barter, for example, that, I believe in this product. Would you want to take it and push on your feed so that you make a commission? And some of them are willing to do that without taking money up front. So it takes a lot of thinking. The thinking we don't want to do.
The thinking is the problem,
but thankfully there are all these business hubs now, entrepreneurship hubs, that you can get in there and get support for very small businesses and ideas and things that will challenge you to think as a business
didn't know.
person.
Mirabel, do you know about entrepreneurship hubs? You do, and innovation hubs. Have you used any? Oh, right. Okay. So how do you access? Okay, in the first place, what are they?
These
and
are
then how do you access?
almost like centers of networking and excellence where you have people like you come and interact and get support. Some of these hubs are funded, by organizations that want to support young people or entrepreneurs and all of that. So, I mean, they are quite scattered around. So you can choose to, depending on what you're doing, there are tech hubs, there are pure entrepreneurship hubs, there are business groups that you can join. GEA, for example, has centers dotted all over the country where you can go and get support and all of that. So
GEA,
Ghana Enterprises Agency, these are government agencies that support small businesses. And they are just an example, but there are quite a few of them around. And thankfully now with generative AI tools, you can just go there and ask, where would I find support hubs, business support hubs, and they will pop up for you. As long as you are willing to do the work.
So I mean, all of this has we've been talking about the things you wish you had known when you started. So let's say we've done the gigs, we've done the hustle, for a while. We've gotten a bit of experience, but we've reached a point where we've outdone our status and our Instagram and all of that. So now we want to move to something bigger. How do we begin to move from this is a gig, this is a hustle, into actually building a meaningful business?
I think for me the next level is structuring your business. And I always say that if you leave your business for a week and it cannot survive without you, it's still a hustle. It's still a gig. And it comes down to how we are structuring the business to outlive us or to function without a personal involvement. And that comes to, now who are you getting on board to help you, especially to fill the areas and gaps where you don't have capacity. You need to do your financing, your accounting. If you are not very skilled, then you are looking for support in that area. You don't have to go and hire an accountant. And that's why I keep coming back to thinking about these things. There are companies that, accounting software development companies or support companies that you can pay a fee and they give you some app to use and then do your accounts for you. And you pay very little. So then you begin to look at all the different things in your business and what you need to do to ensure that they are well staffed. That's the next level. My point is that if you don't have money to have the resources in-house, look at how you can outsource. That's one way. You can also get in partners. I mean, if you want to own 100%, but you don't have money to hire the right resources, that can be challenging. You can tell somebody who has the skill to say, come in, let me give you some part of the business or equity, and then you become my marketing manager or my strategist or whatever. And then, they are also a part of them. So many ways to look at it. But key is to move it to the next level, you have to begin to look at your structures. And you have to begin to look at how you grow. What are you going to do to move to the next level? What kind of promotion, what kind of marketing are you going to do? Because it's important that you move the business from your core inner circle to everybody else. Do you get me? So in terms of market, what are you going to dwell on? Are you using traditional channels? You don't have the resources. Can you stay on social media? All these fairs around, can you begin to attend some of them to build a wider? As you're building, how are you taking care of your customers? What kind of data are you gathering to ensure? So all these are things that you begin to think about. If you cannot do it by yourself, you get help. To move it to the next level. And like I'm saying, there are all sorts of resources around to help you. Don't forget, you can also find your mentors, the people that have done it that you want to align with and get ideas and support from. You can get a coach, a business coach, and there are a few of them, quite a number of them around, who have the skill and expertise to do a one-on-one with you and help hold your hands through the process.
Yeah.
I'm a firm believer in not taking just training.
Okay.
Because I've had a lot of people who go through training programs, but coming back to apply and implement becomes a challenge.
Yeah.
I would always recommend a business coach.
Okay.
So because the person then holds your hands and guides you
through the
process and keeps you accountable to what you're doing. So, I mean, there's no room to say, I don't want to think. That person will make you think.
It all sounds very serious now. Like it's a serious thing.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your failures.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily your personal failures, but maybe some of the greatest lessons that you've learned from your failures. Because there's always somebody listening, who has failed, doesn't feel like continuing, doesn't know how to pick themselves up.
Yeah.
But I think some of our greatest lessons are learned when we fall down.
Yeah.
So for you, if you have some experiences to share, that would be great.
Failures are part of the journey. And my number one passion in all of this, not just helping people to start and grow businesses, but also getting people, or whether locally or culturally or whatever, to shift mindsets on how they view failure. Because that is the key challenge we face as young people or old people that want to step out and do something. I think I've shared it on my Facebook before that sometimes you are even afraid to step out because you try something that you think is very audacious. I mean, if it goes well, you are going to do very well. You're going to employ people. And then when you fail, the kind of comments you get, I mean, it's like you're a thief.
Yeah.
People look at you, there's embarrassment, but that should not be, because it takes somebody stepping out and failing to get up and say, I'm going to share my experiences like we are doing today, so that somebody else can avoid the pitfalls. So let us normalize allowing people to fail. I know organizations that encourage people to try and fail and reward you for failing. Yes, because that is the only time people are freed up to take a step to try and do something. I have failed at so many things. And for me, some of them have been, heartbreaking. When you wake up in the morning and you are not sure where you are starting from again. And it's for me, the lessons have been the level of trust and naivety that I went into business with, because like you said in the beginning, you feel because your heart is right and you are doing something, everybody is happy for you and everybody will help you, but that is not always the case. So you trust some people and they let you down badly, and when they do, I mean, it hits you because you are the business owner. I mean, I've had instances where all my staff packed baggage one day and said, we don't want to do the work anymore. And here I was stuck with all sorts of resources that I had brought in to let the business run. And at that point, I'm the person carrying the burden, and it can be lonely and painful, but that taught me that I should never run a business where I'm depending on people necessarily. My structures have to work so that there's continuity for the business. If people decide that we don't want to do this anymore, you cannot tie anybody to your business forever.
No, you can't.
Exactly. And people have dreams and they will move on, So the pain of even losing people, you get to a point where you are immune to it because people will go. But before, I somehow in my naivety, I felt everybody that is going to work with is going to be there forever. It's going to
buy into the vision,
and stay with you,
the
and
whole journey,
and so there's shock when it hits you, and there's a gap, and you haven't prepared for that gap. There have been instances where I've lost a lot of money, because something didn't go the way it was supposed to go. It was a function of a lack of knowledge, lack of research, proper research into what I was going to do. The optimism, so I didn't do my risk analysis and mitigation properly, and all of that. And I've learned, because you don't have a choice. You would have to learn and grow and do better. It doesn't mean I don't make mistakes anymore, but the rate at which I make those mistakes have significantly reduced, because now I take my time more when I get the idea to do my work before I come out and do anything. So those are the lessons I've learned. If you're an entrepreneur, the passion is there, when you get the idea, please take your time. Don't rush
Take
with
your
it.
time.
Take your time. Do a lot more work before you come out. It's very important, so that you are clear in your mind, the challenges that you are going to face and how you deal with them when they do come up.
Well, if you just tuned in, you've missed a lot, but this is Strong and Sassy here on your Superstation Joy 99.7 FM. My name is Animwaa, and I am speaking to Dr. Boahemaa. Do you know, I don't know if you've noticed.
You're going to say Boahemaa.
I just always struggle with the enunciation of the is it Boahemaa
Ntim.
Because I think it's because of the Boahemaa, right? Yes. Yeah, Boahemaa Ntim. Yes. We're talking about being successful. Yeah. So we've learned now that you move from gigs to hustles to businesses. So moving from the gigs to the hustle to the business. I want us to talk about your book and the podcast, but before we do that though, when you fail, you said yourself at the beginning of the show that sometimes when you feel, you're stuck. Yeah. And you want to stop.
Yeah.
So how do you go from the place of, I was so hopeful, I was so excited about this business, I've put money into it, it has failed, people have let me down, I didn't do my risk analysis and mitigation, I didn't test the scalability of the business, I didn't do all of those things, and now it's, everything is in pieces. How do I start again?
Anyway, it's not an easy space to be in. And so for me, it's over the years I've built the capacity to pick myself up. Some of it in the beginning took much longer because I just wasn't in the headspace to step out again. But what I would say is the crucial thing that you would always need to do is ask yourself the questions. What was my role in getting to this point? Because the easiest thing to do is to blame everybody but you.
But yourself.
But when you do that, you would never be able to pick yourself out because there's so much regret. Why did I trust this? Why did I do this? Why did I let somebody in? But ask yourself the questions. What did I do?
Yeah.
What could I have done differently to avoid this? Then the next phase is the grieving process. Allow yourself time to grieve, because it's painful. I mean, it's a dream. It's a baby. It's something that you had your hopes on. You've calculated your margins and how your life was going to change.
How you're going to chill in 5 years.
How you're going to chill. So it's painful. Don't rush through the grieving process. Allow yourself time to grieve. And then once you're done, ask yourself, okay, if I don't do anything else, where would that get me?
So before we move to that, the grieving process.
Yeah.
Do you put a cap on it? Do you decide, okay, I'm going to grieve for 3 months, I'm going to grieve for 6 months, and what does grieving look like? Is it that you cry or you garden?
All of that
or you? I mean, like
all of that. People are different.
Because nobody teaches us how to grieve.
Yeah, people are different. I mean, people grieve differently. For somebody, it's just staying off anything for 3 months. Like they don't even want to think about it. They are grieving. You will not see tears, but there's pain that they are dealing with, the regrets that they are dealing with, the embarrassment that they are dealing with. For some people, it's jumping into something else completely different.
Like a rebound relationship.
You know what I mean? But they go into something else. I mean, somebody may be doing business, but they go into academia. Something just to get off from that zone. For some people, they cry. I mean, they cry and regret and, some people get depressed. So everybody's, grieving, ability and then also how you bounce back is also very dependent on your and the support system and your faith.
Right. Yeah.
I cannot leave that out because for me personally, it's been my faith that, okay, this has failed, but I believe in a God who can give me another chance. Yeah. And once I can learn the mistakes, I can accept that I goofed. I didn't do this well. But I need your mercy.
And I didn't listen to you, Jesus.
No, the sad part is when you even think, I prayed about this.
Yeah, but
I asked God for this. And so in my mind, why did they happen. But when you sit back and you really, really reflect, you realize
you
that
see the points where you
see
didn't
the
listen.
point where
There's always a point.
Seriously,
There's always a point, yeah.
So faith is important. Support is important. And that's why for me, a mentor is crucial. A mentor is crucial because when you speak to that person, that person will encourage you, will help you to get out of your, otherwise you may stay in that state for a very long time.
So like you can have a business mentor, a spiritual mentor,
different
mentors for different things.
Yes. But your business mentor will typically have been somebody who may have walked that journey before.
Okay.
And so they can share with you some of the things that they did to get out of that situation.
I wish we had time so that I could ask you about how to pick a mentor. Okay. But the thing is 7:51 and I really want us to talk about the book.
Yeah.
So tell us about the book.
Okay.
And how we can get it, because I'm assuming a lot of the things you've spoken about tonight are in the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
The book is important, but for me, it's going beyond the book. I think you can. I probably have to get a number for it. I didn't even bring it, but if you go onto my page. I would put a link there for people that want to order the book. But we are coming up with an app.
Okay.
That people can get on and download the book, the ebook. So that is going to be a lot more available for everybody.
So what's your page?
BT Hustle GH.
Okay.
BT Hustle GH. Or my personal page, Boahemaa Ntim.
So beyond the hustle, so BT Hustle
GH. And you can order, you can get the book. It's on all the socials.
Okay.
Once you get there, you drop us a message or you come into our DM, we'll deliver the book to you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
and the podcast?
Yes. The podcast is BT Hustle GH.
Okay. So tell us about the podcast. Tell us about some of the conversations that you had.
Interesting conversations. I mean, I've had all sorts of people, business people that we know, have heard about, and sometimes they are sharing their stories of failure and how they picked themselves. I think everybody should listen because then it answers the question of how you pick yourself up when you hit rock bottom. Because every business person, that was the thing that struck me the most. Every single one of them that I interview in these podcasts have been down and have had to lift themselves up.
Yeah.
So you are not alone. If you are listening to us this evening and you think, oh, I'm struggling with don't give up. Just find the right people to talk to. Just find the right mentors to engage with. Surround yourself with people who are thinking like you. Now, because of social media, people will be giving advice and things that they haven't done before. Don't feel that, you are down because you've struggled. People have struggled. We continue to struggle. So you are not alone. And for me, if you listen to those podcasts, they will help you to lift yourself up and be able to push through. You also learn. In addition to the podcast, there's a masterclass.
Okay.
I also do masterclass. So all these questions you are asking me on how you grow the business, and I treat all of them in the masterclass. Free resources.
Oh, wow.
So that you can pick it.
And so how do we listen to the podcast? YouTube,
Instagram, TikTok, they're all there.
Okay,
but I think the full video is on YouTube.
BT Hustle?
BT Hustle GH.
Okay, so everything is BT Hustle.
Everything is
so
BT
beyond the hustle, GH, yes. BT Hustle, GH.
Yes.
So YouTube, Instagram, Facebook,
TikTok.
Yeah. Beyond, so BT Hustle, GH. All right, let me go through some of our messages. This one says, so does it mean as a business owner you can, with the trends, you can follow the trends with what you sell? Like Mirabelle's example, if she sells heels and now the trend is flats, should she now go to flat? Okay, I think what they're asking is that in business, should you follow the trends?
Well, you could, but you need to also be able to sit properly and decide what your business stands for. Because you can also create a market that is not following trends and build a business that is not necessarily following a trend.
And still be very successful. Yeah.
Because then you create something that is yours and you create a loyal base that subscribes. If you follow the trends, mind you, it's an open ocean. And a lot of people are also following the trend. So competition is huge. Typically, if you want a sustainable business, you may need to do something that is not just following trends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But don't get stuck as well. If
So
the world is
flexibility,
changing,
yeah.
be agile. Be willing to look at what you are offering,
yeah.
and allow things to influence what you are doing positively.
You know something we haven't talked about? Your teas.
Yeah.
I know today is like business and hustle, but you make the most amazing teas.
Yes, I do.
And I love the hibiscus with the cinnamon.
Yeah.
That's my favorite. But anyway, this is to let you guys know that if you want really nice hibiscus teas.
Yes. They're very healthy.
Yeah, very, very healthy.
Yes. Yes.
Not so healthy when you add the amounts of sugar that we had.
And it's for the strong woman. I mean, one thing I haven't touched on, I'm very big on relaxation. You know, because if you're a business person and you decide that you are going to give your whole life
to the business, you
will burn out. So it's important that you have time to relax, chill, drink tea.
People have guilt about relaxing and resting, and I don't know if it's a cultural thing or if it's
it's possible. I mean, I had a point in my life, if I sit for 2 hours doing nothing, it's like I'm wasting time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
You know, but you need to work yourself
You
to the
need
place
to waste time.
Yes, where you can just sleep.
Yeah, or
like
just
sleeping.
sit down and do nothing. It's important to creativity and productivity.
Very important.
Yeah.
Very
so you can relax with some teas. How do we get the teas?
Available on our socials. NutriHealth GH. Well. Yes.
Okay, so there's BT Hustle GH and there's
NutriHealth
GH as well. This one says, my question to your panelists is that based on her personal experience and years of work experience, what are some of the practical ways of deriving maximum benefits from networking opportunities? Wow. In about 2 minutes, because our time is...
Find the right places to go to. Typically, I'm not an extrovert.
Okay.
So going to mingle is a little difficult for me. I like more structured environments. So decide who you are and where you want to go. And it has to be a place where you can meet the right people for your business or what you're doing. So don't just go because there's a program. Decide and learn and research where you are going. And when you go, don't chase too many people.
Okay.
Find one or two, focus, and build a relationship. Or pick an opportunity to be able to connect.
So why do I feel like if I were going to have a show on how to find a husband, you would be a good person to have on? Because, you know, everything is so structured and I feel like maybe there are lots of people listening who we finish with their business.
Yeah. I think we should have a program where we talk about how to catch.
So we're going to do that. I know, seriously, because I like the structure and then knowing where to go, knowing how to
and knowing how to.
So we're going to do how to find a good husband with Dr. Boahemaa Ntim.
Yeah.
We're going to do that.
Yeah. Position to be found.
The show, no, like it has been Mirabelle. Don't ask me the title of the show. Position to be found.
Yeah, very important. God. Very, very important.
Doc, I'll talk about your availability off air so that because I think that we should.
I want to have that conversation.
You want to? I want to have that conversation too. I really, really want to have that conversation too. I think it was Jesus. I think this was a Jesus.
We will have
moment.
that conversation.
We will. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Animwaa, for having us.
You're welcome. Don't forget, it's BT Hustle GH. You want to go in there. You will enjoy the conversations. You will learn so much. Doc speaks to both men and women, but you know, for us women as well, it's really important that we hear the stories of what other women have done to succeed so that we can succeed. My name is Animwaa Anim-Addo. Big thank you to the whole team, Mirabelle and everybody else, Oliver, Crispy, who is not here, but hello, Crispy. Coming up next is the 8 o'clock. Don't forget, Position to be found. Coming soon. Thank you so much. Good night and stay safe.